There we go. Good evening, everyone. Wow, we have quite a few people already in the room. Say hi in the chat. Tell us, well, just say hi. You don't need to tell us anything. Um, mm, I didn't have, there was nothing really, well, there was something very significant that happened, but nothing that I haven't already talked about quite extensively, just another layer of it that happened this week. Usually I come up with a subject of what do I want to talk about this week. And there was a realization. I read a lot. I read a lot of Seth material, and the Seth stuff is endless material, just so much stuff to read. Hi, how are you, Smitty? Anyone else out there say hello? Carrie's here. Hi. And the ones that are in my master class, Smitty here in the chats in it, and there was something that was really cool. And my attraction created this environment that I'm in to get me to understand something about relating to reality without the structure that I thought was absolutely necessary. Hey, Jeanette, how are you, darling? And Kim's here too. Hi, baby. Mwah. Look at everybody here. I love you all. Thank you so much. So, I read this part and it was like, and I've talked about some, but in the master classes, we did really extensive work on the outer senses and the inner senses. Okay. So just let me give you this idea. And if you guys, hey, Julie, if you guys have a question and you want me to answer a question, you can type it in the chat and I'll do that for you tonight. So let's consider something. Okay. We have our senses, right? And we have taste and touch and smell and hearing and sight, right? Taste, touch, smell, hearing, and sight. And that gives us our experience. And then, we thought everything was external. And then we all of a sudden realize it's all interpretation through electric um, impulses in our brains, the synapses firing and giving us an image of what the light is carrying. And then, we say, okay, that's cool. But then we find out quantum physics tells us, well, the reality is that actually made out of light. And this whole thing is an illusion, not an illusion, but a projection, like a holodeck. And I read something about the inner senses, and we did extensive work on the inner senses. And it takes consistent work to really develop them. The easiest one is telepathy. You just follow your intuition and you trust and you start to develop in the discernment. That was the easiest. But there's other ones that took some time. Well, anyways, Seth had said, if you develop your outer senses to the point of well used, then your inner senses will come online because that's the natural expansion. What happens though is the human mind, as we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, the grooves, the systematic routines that we put. When I say grooves, it's like the mind has a groove on this happens, here's my reaction, here's my answer, here's my resolve. And all of those are cycled and you can set your clock by them, right? They're just so static and permanent in your reality. And you, as the awakened, as the ascender, have to do this, have to reprogram yourself not to react to those things, blah, blah, blah. So then you get this gradual change in reality. And where that can lead you is not to create new pathways of habit that your mind tells you in a polarized sense. Keep that in mind. What's right, what's wrong, what to do, what not to do, and what to avoid. That's all human. Take that and throw that shit out the door. You don't want to be human. You don't want to be polarized. You don't want to be right and wrong. You don't want to be good and bad. You don't want to be us and them. You want to be here and now in your own divinity, right? And follow your natural intuition. Well, that's what leads to the inner senses. Once you stop using the outer senses to guide you and take you through the world. And here's how it takes us through the world as a side note: responsibility, pride, ego, identity, ego, same thing, the structure, the perceived ideas of what you have to maintain, what your things that you must do. And all of those things are context in the time. They're not in the now. You do some of those things in the now, but you always plan to do them in time, that kind of thing. So the inner senses come online by natural, but you have to stop using the outer senses as a dependency, as the permanency of a way of life. And that takes a sharp mind. That takes work on your part to truly observe yourself. Because look, you can't do a mantra. No one's going to rescue you. No one else can save you. No one else can make your pain and your suffering and your ascension happen, because there isn't anybody else. And that concept right there, that concept, as a side note, is one of the most powerful statements that you can ponder and dwell upon for probably the rest of your life, to fully understand how there literally isn't anybody else. And Bashar said that 13 years ago, right? 13, 14 years ago. You're the only one in your universe. And then one says, oh, it's a lonely place. No, it's not. It's all a subjective kingdom that you create. So anyways, if you understand the dependency on the outside and the dependency of the inner senses, of the outer senses, then you're going to remain that. And ascension is enlightening what remains as a permanency, because the law is constant change. So you have to work. And if you're interested in ascending, you must be, because you're watching this channel, and that's all we fucking talk about, is how to deconstruct the human and allow the nature, the God that you are by nature, evolve, release, get noticed, allowed to come out, so to speak, because you're not using, your shit. Look, it's really easy, and I do it every fucking day. My mind doesn't. It tells me human, and I listen to it sometimes. So you all have a thought, right? And a situation comes up, and the thought tells you this, and you go along with it, right? You play out the scenario of pain. You bitch, you scream, you holler, you get happy, you get excited. You do things for purposes. You do things as reaction. And all of that is the structure of separation. That's the identity. Gods don't need, don't want, don't desire. They don't. They fucking don't. If you think that, then you're using your human context, because if I do it, there's no other way. So that's the only way that they could do it. Just like all aliens are evil, because humans with their diarrhea on the fucking brain going, gah, gah, gah. If it's here, it must be there. Just ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. So you, as an ascender, have to look at the structure of your own reality in order to change it. And it's arduous, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. It's a master journey. Earning your master's degree in any discipline is fucking a journey. It is difficult. It is arduous. It is tedious at sometimes, right? Fractal fuckery, says Smitty. Abso-fucking-lutely. It is called fractal fuckery, the fractal, the separated self, right? So, but if you do that, then you have to understand that there is something that you get to experience as an awakening God, other than just leaving and going back home. Okay? And that's our Divinicus work that we do in the master classes. And we had this idea, and it was introduced by my crew, my channeled crew, that there's a God inside of you, right? And the Bible backs it up. All gods live with all. God lives in the hearts of all men, right? And you're created in the image of God, right? And these are wonderful, wonderful clues. And the truth lies in the eye of the beholder. Everything there tells you, okay, it's me and only me. So let me get busy with me. And polarity and division us and them says, no, 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 I have to serve the outside. I have to do the outside. I have to depend on the outside and that. And you label and you structure and you create and you're human. Great. So to change that, you have to stop. And then you start getting these inner senses, these abilities. Now, I'm not going to sit here and prove anything to you. I'm not going to do that, okay? Because that is one of the biggest crutches of humanity is needing proof. It's such bullshit, okay? Because anytime and every time proof is offered, there's always an argument. Because proof is in the context of an object to get someone else to change the mind. We're not here to change anyone's mind except ours. That's the work. You don't want to fucking change anyone's mind. So I'm not going to prove anything to you. But my telepathy is out fucking standing. It is so goddamn good. I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV shows, this and that, and I know what they're going to fucking say. It's the coolest fucking thing in the world. You just know these things. You get this thing from someone's vibration that's aligned with you, and everything about them is downloaded in an instant. And it's wonderful. And it's not something to be parlor tricks and, oh, look at this. And you don't do anything. You don't structure yourself and go, oh, I'm going to make myself known because I'm a great, and you try to interrupt somebody and tell them, oh, look who I am. And here's what I need to tell about you. I'm this great. I can read my... You're not here to be a goddamn showboater. You're here to ascend. So the point is there's something that you can be, the Divinicus in you, the divine human, Homo Divinicus. It was introduced years ago. I picked it up and I start working on it diligently. And we're writing a book right now, which is volume 1 and volume 2 are done. Volume 2 is getting the final on it. But, and there's 3 volumes to this. And it's a pathway. And you guys can start today. What are you interested in? Are you interested in what the outer senses tell you? That's what you need to look at. Because when the inner senses come online, those are abilities that are innate. They are natural. They're inherited. They are what you are. They're not gifts from somebody else. You're not special. You're a fucking run-of-the-mill God that creates its reality. Again, it doesn't need, want, desire. It doesn't do those things. It just, I create without intention. Oh, I gotta make this. I gotta do that. I really would like that. Maybe I could. That's all human. It's natural, and you have to work at it. But are you willing to do the work, or are you willing to continue what you're already good at? See, that's the thing. When you're good at something, right? Think about all the toys that you had. Think about the toys that you could never put down. Think about the hairstyles and the clothes you used to wear that you thought, this is me, and it was you, and then one day you just stopped. You changed. You didn't do the same thing because that was the natural evolution of yourself. Well, with humanity, moving into Divinicus, there's a natural idea to release the outer senses and rely on the inner sense. You're still going to have your sight, but you're going to have more than just this idea. You're going to have this idea here too. This third eye doesn't see into other realities. It can, but it also sees what you can't see that's in this reality. It helps you see at different frequency ranges. That's what this other eye does. It tells you more about your now. And your telepathy tells you conversationally what's going on, which is conversationally between the collectives. Vibrationally, where you want to direct yourself. Because you can sense with your telepathic ideas the vibrational output of your co-created reality. That's all built in. These are natural things. And we're trying so goddamn hard to fix the world. Man, it is a shitty place. I know. It's beautiful in some places. You know what really pisses me off? I see these wonderful pictures of places in the world, but I can't get there unless I have money. and then I have to have a visa, and I have to have documentation, and I just can't go there. I just can't go. You know, to me, that's the biggest tragedy. The absolute limitations, the countries, the division. See, but that's what human is. I can't fight that, and I'm not gonna fight that. What I'm gonna do is create myself a reality that aligns with me by choosing. My creation is my choosing, my inner self, my inner intuition, my inner discernment to that which aligns with me, and I start to release. So that natural change we're talking about, when you used to put shit down that you were done with, the outer senses are going to become boring to you because you're not validating the routine with energy. Like, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. You know what's so funny? Someone, uh, there was a teacher of mine, one of my teachers, right? And he had said this. He's like, you're worried about paying your credit card bill or this, electric bill or anything like that, right? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, do you know that that thing isn't there until you put it there? I was like, well, what the fuck you mean? Where is it living right now? And I said, I don't know. And the bank's over there or whatever's over there. Said, no, it's not. It's not in your here and now. So where is it? I was like, okay, in my memory. He goes, right. So whatever's in your memory that you validate, you must create. Because you're still a God. You haven't lost your creative powers. It's what you value that will become consistent. I was like, oh. But what happens when the bill shows up? Well, you pay it, he said. You don't try to get rid of things, but you just don't validate until the natural idea of the now occurs and you handle it in the now. And then if memory is created in the moment, and you never remember to pay your credit card because you're not reminded, do you have any debt? I said, I guess not. And he goes, that's right. This is how you change your histories. But it takes so much discipline. It's so much discipline to change your history and give yourself an entire new history. Do you understand? And we're going to talk about this, Smitty, in Wednesday's class. When you are in a co-creative moment of now, there is an agreement with all the telepathic collective wholes that everyone agrees in the alignment of what the current idea is. So here's me, and here's another person. And our memories agree on something. Oh, yeah, how's this? Okay, I do have a daughter. I do have this. She's fine. She's going to here. Oh, good. That was cool. What about your trip? Okay, and everything is a story. But don't think for 1 second that's anywhere in history. It's in the memory created now that applies. So that person brings up an entire different subject. Your entire idea of that subject becomes that timeline. It could be something that you would have never, ever remembered or did because it didn't exist in your ascending, but you gave yourself the memory of it and the actual history of it that aligns with theirs, and you become the version of that, and they become the version, they're the version of you in that reality that matches. And it's a completely different history. And this person that you just talked to, and she brought something else up, or he brought something else up, you shifted and you guys give yourself brand new memories. Think about that for a second. See how much we validate? That's what the outer senses do. The outer senses validate our commitments, our obligations, but none of it applies into the moment. That's it. So if you can release time, if you can really work on the one thing that works that really, really changed my life is working in the now and allowing and not structuring purpose. So I was like, okay, so I'm with a group of people, and in that moment, we all create memories that match our vibration. And let's say it's me, this version of me with history A, and everyone agrees, right? And they go, yep. Okay. In the next moment, someone else brings up this conversation, and me and that person never had that history, but I create a memory that has that history. So we can align in that moment that would allow that person to maybe get an understanding or allow me to get an understanding. But that timeline never happened to the person I was a second ago. And they go, absolutely. See, look at the need for consistency in our universe. We do get solid, consistent, congruent timelines, of course, because we validate them. What happens if we stop validating time? What happens if we stop validating the idea of permanency? Because the memory is created in the moment. Who out there won't change to match your fucking vibration? Nobody. But you can't think egoically about my vibration. I've been so positive and I'm doing all the right things. And why do I attract this fucking asshole in my life? Well, because you're working in a polarized world and you still validate an asshole. So you're going to get an experience that allows someone to be an asshole. And either you can reject them with resistance or you can accept them with allowance. And that starts to shift the energy to where you don't attract those versions of people. That same asshole can be a cool best friend in the next 2 minutes. But you have to stop validating what was. So this beingness that we've been doing up here, being opportunity has just stopped doing so hard. And especially for me, I started at 14 and I worked all the way to 2010 when I got let go, went on unemployment for a year and a half, and then started Odyssey of Ascension. And this is not work. But that was from 14 until, I don't know, I was 44, 43. I don't know, I'm 59, 10, 60, 40, 43. Yeah. Okay. I tried shifting my energy, but I got tickets and robbed, and it's so bad I can't leave the house. Well, that's how you create that world. See, you're validating today, right now, with us, what happened. So you're making an excuse why you can't do it. So that's how you forge and continue that vibration. See, it's not about the details. The details are just such bullshit. It's the vibration. So it doesn't matter what happened. If you want to keep playing a victim, Julie, you're going to get ways to be a victim. I guarantee you that. You'll always get the bad side of reality because you're reacting to what reality? Who gives a fuck? That's what you have to learn. You have to learn to allow and accept reality and not focus on that. So the work that I've done on being was very uncomfortable because I was working hard all my life. And I'm sitting around, so I should be doing something. I feel guilty. I got to be productive. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should meditate. And it was showing me how much structure I had. Because who the fuck is judging me? Who, what? There's nobody else. Who's judging me? My ego. And the emotions that were gripping, powerful, saying, the fuck are you doing, man? You can't just sit around. Yes, I can. But I'm not sitting around because I'm actually doing work. And the work is recognizing the resistance in me to keep the outer senses structured, keep them well fed, and that those paradigms continue because I put the energy in it. I put the energy in it. That's it. Julie, I've known you for 10 years, maybe 15 years, 10 years, or whatever it is. Every time you talk about your pain. You talk about your kids. You talk about everything that's wrong. And that's okay because you know that your mirror is your best friend as long as you keep talking about the pain and the suffering and the victimization and what's wrong with the world, then you're always going to get that. But you also have to look at your behavior, and maybe in one moment you can go, maybe I don't need to behave this way. Maybe I don't need to say those words. Maybe I don't need to validate it. But your ego is going to go, oh, that's what happened. You're like, you're right. Fuck you. And then you cycle. Or you can master yourself. And it takes work to master yourself. You know, there's people in my class that are naturally happy. They're naturally joyous. And I did not have a good childhood. I had a shitty childhood with shitty fucking parents and emotional fucking cunts, just shitstorms. And I had to work at it. And I was envious and jealous. It's like, how can you be so fucking happy? You know, and I couldn't find happiness. Well, I wasn't looking for happiness. I was looking, the idea is to look what keeps you sad. And that's when I found out happiness is natural. Goofiness is happening, is natural. Being myself without the depressing idea of responsibility, money, future, all of that, those things kept me dark. Being happy and goofy, letting myself evolve naturally. And it works. Kim says, Roxy, you are so right. I've been working on letting go of the victim mentality. Yeah, it is a fucking cancer. But we react because society tells us, oh man, what happened? Oh, this happened. Oh man, that's too bad. I'm so sorry for you. And that validates it. And that's not wrong. That's what humans do because we have pain and we need reasons for pain. We need causes for pain and we need to fix them because we don't want pain. But pain isn't external. It's a dependency on the internal idea of your identity. And that's what you need to see. That you're structuring an idea and you have to remove those by recognizing, okay, I can't keep bitching about this. I can't keep doing this. Let me change the behavior. And sometimes it doesn't look like there's anything to do. Or I don't know how to change this. Don't try to change it into something. The first step is just stop. Just stop and react. When you see yourself react, stop. And you're reacting because the outer senses say, hey, this is what it is. So you have to do this. And your ego goes, ugh. And you think it's you thinking. It ain't you. You're not a fucking ego. You're a creator with unconditional love. So that's your ego that you need to recognize that's telling you this is how you should behave. And you got to go, no, not today. Carrie Morris. Hi, Carrie. Robert Edward Grant says, we stop attracting what we judge when we stop judging what we attract. Bingo. That has helped me more mindful to put on my energy. Oh, I like that. I fucking like that. We stop attracting what we judge when we stop judging what we attract. Exactly. That's like the resistance, you know? Thanks, Smitty. I just saw that. Anyways, so the work that you have, look, it doesn't matter what you do. When you die, there's nobody there that's gonna fucking judge you. Nobody. Because the only one there is you. You're gonna wake up to your own little bubble of I am. And all the memories and the gestalt and the awareness of you is gonna come flooding back in and you're gonna go, oh, it's me. That's right. Well, that was a hell of a thing. I forgot everything. Look at me down there. You can review your life on the little mural that moves around and it's a review. Then you can go, you know what? I think I'm going to go back again. I'm going to work on this. Or maybe I'm done with human. I'm going to go to spiritual world and go to a different vibration. Maybe go to the fourth dimension. I'm going to do whatever I want. Why? Because you're God and you're only one fucking here. And there's nobody ever fucking ever that's going to tell you different. You know who tells you different? Your fucking ego right here in human. So believe me, if you're smart and you observe, then you know everything that you know starts and stops with the human. Everything you fight, everything you resist, everything you value as a truth starts and stops with being human. But if you go inside, there will be none of these judgings. There will be none of the resistance. There will be none of the out there. You'll find a fucking kingdom where no one sits on the throne and it's empty, waiting for you to return. That's the work of an ascending master, right? I think we can do that. I think we can do that work. We've had great weather here. 70s, mid 70s, got up to 80 the other day. Me and Tommy went for a ride on the Harley. We did 80 miles today. It was beautiful, hour and a half. We have something. I just wanted to share this. There's a buffalo ranch. We're riding on the mic on the bike, and we go by this thing, and there's this big, large fence, and it's very open. It's thin, horizontal fence that's tall and grid, but very, very open. And there's goddamn buffalo walking right there. Fucking stop the bike. If you ever get a chance to go and see that fucking majestic animal, if you ever get a chance to go see a buffalo, just go. Go up to Wyoming or wherever they have them now. If you've never seen the absolute majesty of that, the majestic of that fucking beast, do it. Do it. Don't delay. I got to find out more about this place anyway. What we think about whether we bring it around or not, yeah. Got no snow this year. Anyways, any other questions? Anything? One of the biggest appetites is I really wanted you guys to understand it, because I feel something inside, and it's a freedom. And whenever I feel pain, I know that's an ascending structure, an opportunity for me to ascend a structure that lies in front of me, something that was implanted in me because I coveted on separation. And I know I can do that work, right? And I do that work, and that's what I do. But there's a feeling that you got to understand, and it's not a temporary. It's a state of being, and it lies within each and every one of us. It's a divinity that is a permanency. It is the literal I am, law one. Anyways, so work on those things. Work on your telepathy. Work on your intuition. Don't validate the memory so much. Don't fight things. Flow. Don't resist. Allow. Own what you recognize in yourself as resistance, but do yourself the honor of shifting the reality into a new paradigm, a new way to relate to reality by choosing different. You know the old self. Discover the unknown self. I think that's it for tonight. If you like us, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to donate, click the little website down there. I think there's a donate button on the homepage. But anyways, go to the website, donate. You want to contact me, go down there and donate. Donate again. There's a contact. Email me. Tell me what you want to shoot the shit about, and we'll shoot the shit. Love you, Smitty. All right, everyone. Go be masters, okay? Go create the best version of yourself. I love you all. We'll see you next week. And for my students, we'll see you in class on Wednesday. Good night, everyone.